Hi, it's Suey, and Happy New Year, everyone! It's time to start a new year, which means I have lots of things I want to do, lots of videos I want to make. But first of all, let's do our December wrap-up and January TBR plans, all right? Let's do that first. So in December, I think I finished 2 books that were on my planned reading list. The first one is Navigating Early by Claire Vanderpool, which has been on my TBR for a long, long time, and I finally got to it this month. The Prince Honor book, but it's kind of a, I know Prince is usually for YA, but this feels more middle grade, only it also feels YA. It's one of those in-between books, I would say. The main character is 13 years old, and it takes place right after World War II is done. His dad is a captain in the Navy and has been gone a lot. And one time while he was gone, his mom died. So now he's dealing with the death of his mom. And his dad is sort of this gruff guy who doesn't have very many emotions, and he doesn't know how to take care of his kids. So he puts him in a boarding school. And there he meets a kid named Early Auden, who I didn't really feel like he was like autistic-y while I was reading it, but when I read the author's notes, that's kind of what she says he is. Sort of a savant kind of a kid. So he is this interesting kid who kind of does what he wants. And our boy, his name is Jack, makes friends with him and learns lots of things from him. This kid kind of helps him deal with the death of his mother. And Early has his own issues too that he's trying to deal with. During fall break, and everybody else goes to their families, and Early doesn't have a family, and Jack's dad doesn't want to come, then they take off on this quest together in this boat. They have some adventures, and all of those things sort of tie back to different symbolic moments in their lives. It's really hard to explain that part. And it's kind of weird, but it all kind of made sense in the end, all the lessons that they're both trying to learn. So it's kind of a coming of age story. I want to use the word poignant for this book, although I know lots of people hate that word. So whatever other word that means that, emotional, heartfelt story. So I don't remember how many years ago it was. Quite a few years ago, I was able to help at an event at the local college, and I was assigned to one of the authors to be their little helper person. Like I had to pick them up at the hotel and take them to the event, and I got to go out to eat with them several times, and all the authors together. And so she was one of the authors that came there. I wasn't her little helper person, but so I got to meet her, and I was just so impressed with her and how she was just this normal mom. And she's only written these 2 books. This one won the Prince Honor, and the other book won the Newbery Award. And I find that fascinating that she's just this normal mom and has written these 2 books that are like awesome. That's my little side story on meeting her. I haven't read Moon Over Manifest yet, but it will be one that I would like to get to soon also. So that's one thing I got done. And then this one I finally got done. It's been on my TBR this past few months, and it's taken me forever to finish this one. But it is called The Secrets of the Looking Glass in the Lost Wonderland Diaries series by J. Scott Savage. And this is the 2nd book in the series, and it follows these 2 friends. The girl's uncle, or great uncle, I can't remember how many, is Lewis Carroll, and so they have access to a diary of his, and this diary is sort of magic. And in the first book, they go back to Wonderland, kind of like Alice, and meet all the same characters that Alice meets. And in this one, they go to the Looking Glass world, which kind of follows the 2nd book in the Alice in Wonderland series, I think. But also, it is inspired by the Jabberwock poem. Is that how you call it? Or the Jabberwocky? What's the actual name of that poem? The Jabberwocky poem, which I've always loved. It's the coolest poem ever, with tons of made up words in it and everything. So this story is very centered on that poem in the Looking Glass world, if that makes sense to people who are fans of Alice in Wonderland. So these kids go and have this adventure, and then they have to solve all these problems, and there's lots of riddles, and there's lots of cool characters. Kids will love this stuff. For me, it's cool. but then I get it gets kind of old after a while. Like, it's not my favorite sort of style, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the, I cannot believe the things I have to go through to make a video. That was the tree. He just shoved it down. I swear, nobody else goes through this. I would love if you guys would show me your bloopers and how many times you guys get interrupted when you're making a video, because it seems to me like everybody sits down and makes a video and bam, nobody bothers them at all. As you can see, that is not my experience with making videos. All right, what was I saying about the Lost Wonderland Diaries? It's so hard for me because I feel the coolness of the book, but at the same time, it doesn't keep my attention. So what I'm trying to say is it's really great for kids. Like, I can picture reading this out loud to kids and they would love it. But for me, it's not like my most favorite kind of middle grade book, if that makes sense. Okay, so then it was Christmas and I got this book for Christmas. So I read it right off the bat because she's my favorite author. Places We've Never Been, right? By Casey West. Just the fun YA romance. The two characters have been friends in the past. She had to move. He had to move. Somebody had to move. I forgot which one moved. Anyway, so it's been for years, and then now their families are getting together to go on this road trip. So, and she's so excited because she thinks it's going to be awesome. And then when he walks in, he acts like he could care less. In the inside, it says, "Friends, two enemies, two lovers," which is kind of funny to me. Anyway, so that kind of explains that book. I won't say that much more about it. It's just a simple road trip YA romance. I read In the Holidays by Christina Lauren for book club, for our December book club. And that was sort of a Groundhog Day romance. They have a vacation for the week of the holidays with several families, and they've done this many, many years. And she is in love with one of the guys there. It's similar to this one, kind of in that sense. But things aren't going very well, and then it resets, and she gets to do the week a couple of times over until she gets things right with the guy and with other things that are going on between the families. And it's really fun as far as like talking about traditions and family and being together and fun things, and great romance. So I liked it. A lot of people thought it was a little bit contrived in our book club discussion, but I thought it was fun. So then I started this one to try and keep reading books that I own for the Read What You Own challenge. I just recently acquired this one when we were in Portland over the summer. And I got this at Pal's bookstore. It's called The Love Letters of Abelard and Lily by Laura Creedle. And it is a couple of neurodivergent characters who are talking with the help, because they both know this book called The Love Letters of Abelard and Heloise. Heloise? How do you say it? I'm not familiar with this book, but this is making me want to read it. Anyway, these two characters are very familiar with this book, and so they kind of use quotes from this book to talk to each other, which is very cute and fun. But they're both struggling with their issues. So, you know what? I feel like there's been a theme in my reading this year with reading a lot of books that have neurodivergent characters, whether they're autistic or just OCD issues or dyslexic, a lot of dyslexic characters, it feels like. So obviously this is sort of a theme I feel like that authors have been doing for a while, even though some of these books are kind of oldish too, but I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I read in December. Well, actually, I'm still reading this one. I have a little bit to go. So this will be a January book. So I got to finish it. This one. This is the bridge between between December and January. So in January, this kind of goes along with some of my goals for the year, which we'll get to in another video. So be sure and watch that. But I would like to participate in some online buddy reads or group reads or whatever you call them. Two of them on their Discords. One is Carrie Cakes, which some of you may know. This is a pretty famous YouTuber and booktuber. And the other one is Books and Tea or something like that. That group is reading Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zavine, which is a book that I saw on the Goodreads thing way back when I was doing that, and I thought that sounded good, so I want to read that one. And then the one that the Carrie Cakes group is reading is called Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, which is a YA fantasy, which I don't know anything about, but I guess it's kind of, and it's on hold for me at the library, and I'm going to go break into the library after this and get it before they can steal it from me tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to beat them. I'm going to go to work tomorrow at the library, but people will beat me and take it off the hold shelf because I don't think I got it in time, and so I got to go beat them. Okay. Anyways. Also this month in January, I will read My Grandmother Told Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman. This is our book club book for January, and I have that on my Kindle. Then this one is continuing to be on my TBR because it is the one that I want to read from my forever TBR shelf. It's part of the Read What You Own challenge. Okay, and I hope to get to this one in January. Please. I also added this one to my TBR because this was a fun one I got over Christmas. I don't know if I can count it for the Read What You Own challenge because I got it after the challenge started. Anyway, a fun YA romance that I got for Christmas. And I would like to just read something new also. Okay, I have to go now because people are wanting to do stuff in this room. So, thanks for reading with me. Bye!